Okay, so you are on DIM, right?
Yes.
So DIM has you have DIM underscore app underscore domain app underscore OS app underscore URI
Okay.
uh, app underscore user agent app underscore version
Yes.
app underscore weblog domain
Okay. Okay. That's enough.
weblog.
So basically, thank you so much. So basically, see here, if you realize, we have different kinds of dimension table like OS, version, app, domain. Domain means what kind of device you are using, what kind of you are logging into website. I am logging into a website and using that website. So they want to report about the user. Let's say you are going to google.com or amazon.com. You are using amazon.com. So the Amazon people, the business people, they want to know how people are using their website, how the people are using their website. Are they using mobile device? If they're using mobile device, what kind of device is that? Is it a Android phone or Apple phone, or is it a tablet? What kind? And are they using desktop or Macintosh? If they're using desktop or Macintosh, what is their operating system? What is the browser they are using? All these different things they want to know. They want to know the mobile device, if it is a mobile device or desktop. If it is a mobile device, what kind? If it is a desktop, what kind? And they are using our website using what browser, what is the version of it. All these different things they want to report to. So I can create a dimension table for, like, say, domain. That means all different kinds of type, like say mobile, what kind of mobile, or desktop information will be there. And then URI, the website they are using, they are driving into, what kind of website, what kind of browser they are using. Let's say another example I can give you. Let's say in any university, I wanna, the business people or the higher authority, they want to see like students reporting, create some report. Like what they can create dimension table for, let's say, department, major, country, and then probably scholarships. They want to report with different angle, like students are coming from how many countries. If they're coming from that country, which year they're country, which major they are into. So that way we can break it down. Basically, a domain is nothing but different, like section, you could say, different way you can create report to. Domain is nothing but the way you can create report to. That's it.
Okay.
If you can create a report in 10 different way, you can create 10 different dimension. Not necessarily you have to create 10 different dimension always. You can create probably 6 dimension and use those 6 dimension to create 15 different kinds of report. So domain is a group, you could say, is a group. Okay, let's say in one domain table, you can put all the different kinds of timing. Let's say year, month, week, century, day, different timing you are like saving. And then for app version, you are putting different version of app that you are using to log into the website. And then for browser, another domain, what kind of browser you are using. And then you can put region, another table, what kind of location you are using to log into the website. All these different type of information we are breaking into, different type of information. Make sense?
Yes.
Has Said bhai, Sunny bhai, make sense?
Yes, Sarve.
Yeah, domain is important to understand the concept of domain. Actually, is very important. Like, what is domain basically? Not domain, sorry, dimension table. Fact table, whatever we are doing, we are just putting that transaction in fact table. Is kind of straightforward. But domain, dimension, conceptually we need to understand. Dimension is like a different group. That's all. You could put it like a different group. For each group, we are using those group to create a report. let's say if we have a country dimension, if we have a app version dimension, if we have a browser dimension, that if we want to create a report, I want to know what app version and app version they are using and what location, right, they are using. So we can join this app version and then location table, two dimension table, to create the data. I want to see, like, select all from this from fact table, count all, where I can join this dimension table, location and app version, right, to see for the specific location, specific version, how many people are logging into website. So dimension table are basically different group. That's it, different group of data that we can create report. We're going to see some example when we write the query with using different dimension table. Then we will have a little bit more understanding. Conceptually, you guys understand this thing?
Yes, Arif bhai.
Hassan bhai, and what was your other question? Like, did I answer your question or anything left?
No, you answered it.
Answer it. Okay. So once again, so a source could be anything. It could be single source, it could be multiple source. Basically, we are putting, doesn't matter how many source, because we are like pulling everything and putting in the staging. From the staging, we are using our business tools.
Business logic,
business
right?
Logic, right? Logic, and then putting them in the dimension table. Once we have the dimension table, then we put them in the fact table.
The new the conceptually to clear first you put it into dimension table, transfer the data to dimension table, then from dimension to the fact table, which I didn't know that.
Okay. So that's very important. They ask
something like that. You were like, you said first fact table, then they were gonna laugh. Okay. So you do have
yeah. I mean, see, this is the mistake.
I had this question the day we left. Remember, I called you back. I had a little question because I saw that fact table has what I was all alone. I was thinking that your fact table first you create first, then dimension table. Fact table has more importance information, but then like after the class we learn like what is the fact table, then what is the dimension table. Then I just wanted to know like I was reading and somewhere it says that the primary key in dimension table is the foreign key in fact table.
Yes.
So that's I wanted to get a little clear picture about that. So today it's clear about it. Thank you.
Yeah, so basically in the dimension, whatever we do, we put those information in the fact table, our transaction basically, right? Those things need to exist in the dimension table. If it exists in the dimension table, then we put it in there. If it does not exist, then it depends on the like structure of the data warehouse. We may create the new dimension and then put those record in the fact table, or we may drop that record if we don't want that. Let's talk about this ETL testing like phases. What we do in ETL testing, okay? What are the steps we need to do? So ETL testing it's a little bit different, not whole lot, same thing basically, just it's a little bit different than regular functional testing. ETL testing is also functional testing, but it's a little bit different, very minor, okay? So in ETL testing, the first thing we do analysis is regular testing too, but I'm saying testing wise, like the difference is in what kind of testing you are doing. In functional testing, whatever we do, in ETL testing, we do different kind of testing. That's the difference. Otherwise, everything else pretty similar. So first thing we do is analysis. I'm going to go in details everything here, but let's a high level just to understand the steps we need to do. So first to analysis. Analysis means what's the documents, right? Whenever we say we need to analyze, means analyzing the documents, whatever the customer wants, right? Whatever the customer wants, the requirement and the data model. The most important things in ETL testing is two things. One is the data model, one is the mappings. What is mappings, Hassan bhai? Mapping.
Mapping from source to uh, mapping is like right.
Source to target, right? Mapping, source to target mapping is called also mapping. Source to target mapping is also called mapping. That's like source to target mapping means what? Meaning data is coming from point A and data is going to point B.
Yes.
Right? So those things you are writing, like okay, this column, I'm getting data from this column and I'm putting the data to this column, this table, right?
Right.
From this table, this column, from that table, that column, I'm putting the data into. And if I need to change anything in between, I put that information in there too. Those changes are called business rules or logic, right?
Right.
Okay, so in the mapping is very important, and understand the data model is very important. There's the two things that is most important in ETL testing. Business requirement, of course, we have to understand in general, but we have to understand like data model.
Sorry, just 1 second.
Yeah.
Right now you're referring to data model, right?
Yes. No, data model means same thing. Data warehouse architecture, meaning how the data tables are designed, right?
Okay, because when you say that, I need to be clear. Like modeling, when you say model means
no.
I'm flashing back.
Here is the thing. Data model means basically database, right? Now we have OLAP data model and also OLTP data model. OLAP data model is the data warehouse architecture.
Okay.
Data model means like database, all the tables. Data model means all the database in a, like say in one page, you have all the tables names and their connection. Like in this Microsoft Word, I'm putting all the table name with their column name with their connection. That's data model. Let me give me 1 second. See, this is the data model. Hold on, looks like it's coming. Do you see this? Like this, see this one, this picture?
Yeah.
This is the data model. Now, this is a data model. What that means? This is all this table you have, all this. This is a table. This is another table. This is another table. With their column name and how they are connected to each other.
Okay,
so this is a data model. Now, this is a data warehouse data model or this is a transactional data model. That's two different things, right? This is a data model. Data model means, let's say put it this way, it's a kitchen. Is a house kitchen or restaurant kitchen? Right? Do you understand this? Like is a kitchen, but is a house kitchen or restaurant kitchen? So this is a data model. Data model means database table, all the table and their column connection. Now it could be a data warehouse data model. It could be a transactional database data model. Okay. Now if it is a transactional database data model, the structure will be different, how the tables are created. And if it's a data warehouse data model, then the structure will be different. Now if the data warehouse data model, the structure will be different. What does that mean? Means we will have a dimension table and fact table, right? But in a transactional data model, we do not have fact and dimension table. Fact and dimension table we have only in data warehouse. Does it make sense or no?
Sorry.
Yes, sorry.
No, if you are confused, you got to let me know. It's important. Data model is simple. Let's say it's a house, right? Is a what kind of house? Is a private house? Is a business house? Or is a like a, hotel house or what it is? So data model is a presentation of the table with their column name. Data model is the presentation of the table name with the column name and how the table are connected to each other. That's called data model. Okay, data model is nothing but the presentation of the table with their column name and the connection between those tables. See, let's say this table is connected with this table, how they are connected. This table is connected with this table, how they are connected. Those are data. This is the data model. Now, the second thing is, what kind of data model is this? Is this a transactional data model or is it data warehouse data model? If the data warehouse data model, then you will see fact and dimension table data model, right? If the transactional, that you will not see like this, right? It's different type. Make sense or no?
Yes, yes.
Sunny bhai? Said bhai?
Good.
There are two types of data modeling, right? Transactional data modeling and dimensional data modeling.
No, not necessarily.
I mean, the data warehouse, huh?
No, there's the two that we mostly use. There's the two that we are studying, but there could be other type of data model. There could be flat file data model, just regular tables, no connection, nothing. Flat data model. There's a different type of data model. So basically, what is data model? Data model is table. Data model is all the table, put it in a like a WordPad or something, and then like present it. That's it. The connection between this.
So it's like basically, okay, you telling there are two we just telling somebody like these two tables are interconnected by how? It could be a employee ID or employee name or employee social security, like how they are connected. So we're just showing this, right? In modeling, like this is how they're connected.
That's it. Okay. That's it. Now is also another name called ERD, Entity Relationship Diagram.
Okay.
Another name is also called, here, let me write it down here. ERD. Entity Relationship Diagram. Now, entity means actually basically table. Entity actually means basically table. Okay, this is what it means. Entity, and attribute is column. So write it down. Entity basically means tables. It's a little bit depth meanings, but for our understanding, let's put it this. Entity means tables, and attributes means columns. Okay, write this thing down. It's important. Okay, so ERD means entity relationship diagram. Entity means table, so table relationship diagram. That's the data model. See here, if you look this one, this is a table, this is a table. They are connected, right? How they are connected? The column name they put it here. So the table are connected. Entity means table, so they are connected. That's called also ERD, entity relationship diagram. How the table are related, those diagram. There's also a database model. Those wording is very important to understand. Okay, ERD means entity relationship diagram, which is the data model. Okay, and entity means tables, and attribute means column. Is heard or guys getting it?
Clear on it.
Hasan bhai?
Yes, Said bhai.
Said bhai, you say something? Said bhai, getting it?
I said I'm clear. Yeah, I said I'm clear on that.
Okay, good. Okay. Basically, data model, whenever you say data model, that means you know that there will be table structure in there. Data model means all the tables that you need to deal with. If your manager tell you, oh, can you go through the data model? That means you need to go through all the table name and their connection. That's it, how they're connected. There's data model. There's also called ERD, entity relationship diagram, means how one table is connected to another table. ERD means how one table is connected to another table. That's ERD. Okay. So now data model means what? Table name with the column name and their how they're connected. Right. Now it could be different type of data model. It could be data warehouse. Data model is one thing, right? Because if you realize in data, let's look fact table, dimension table, right? See here, if you look at this, see this is, if you realize, see this is a fact table. This is a data model. This is a data model. Now fact table in the middle. Let's see all the dimension table, they are connected. Do you see this?
Connected.
All the dimension table connected with the fact table. See, this dimension connected with fact. This is a data model, but it's a data warehouse data model. Now data warehouse data model is a little bit structure wise a little different. All the fact table is connected with the dimension table. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Once just one question I had in here too. So here we have a fact table sitting in the middle, right? Then surrounding it, we have the dimension tables.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So in dimension tables, do they have connection dimension to dimension? I see one connection here.
It depends. Remember, we went through star schema and snowflake schema. If you have a snowflake schema, a dimension table can be connected with dimension table.
Connect to another dimension table, right?
Yes.
But
in star flags, no.
In star flags,
no.
No, right?
Yeah.
So in this example you just pulled up, there is a connection.
This is dim product and dim country. It could be. I don't see any connection here. See the column name. I don't see anything matching. Could be connection.
No, because this one, there's a line is pointing to this the top table and to the.
Yeah, I see. If this is the case, then it's a snowflake schema.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I needed to get clear. Like in star schema, if there is a connection dimension to dimension, because you already having connection here with the fact tables to the dimension table. So that's why I was a little confused here. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You can basically in fact table you must have to connect with all the dimension.
Right.
Fact table always connect with the dimension, right?
Right.
Now dimension table, it could be connected or not. If it is connected, it's called snowflake schema. It is not connected, it's star schema. Right?
Right. It's not. It's star schema.
Now you have to understand another thing. I just don't want to give you the wrong. If the dimension table is connected, if you realize, see this one. Look, if you realize this dimension table doesn't have connection with fact table. Do you see this?
Right. The second one is not connected.
All the dimension table must have to connect with fact table. That's called star schema. Now, if the dimension table has connected with another dimension table, right? That is snowflake schema, but that dimension table does not directly connect with fact table. This dimension table country is connected with fact table through the product, right?
Product table, right?
This connected with this and this connected with this, right?
Right.
Okay, so just to understand this thing. So this is a data model. That's all I'm saying. This is a data model.
Data model. Okay.
Data model with a data warehouse data model. That's it. Okay. See here, this is look. See, this is a data model, but it is all these tables you have. They're connected to each other. Like I said, see, this one is connected to this one is connected to this. Is a transitional data model. Okay, is a transitional data model. All these things, the transitional data model. This is another data model, transitional data model. Okay. In fact, is a data model. If it's a data warehouse data model, we usually have what? Fact table, dimension table, right?
Dimension.
All the dimension table is connected to fact table. That's the data warehouse data model. Now, if it's a OLTP, transitional data model, then it is like this. Make sense?
Yes.
Because if you realize, if we get the data in a data warehouse from the source, then we have this regular table and we pull the data from there and put it in our data warehouse.
Right.
So are you still confused with the data model thing?
No.
Data model is nothing but a structure or nothing but a presentation of the table with the column name and how they're connected.
Connected. Okay.
That's it. Data model is a presentation, is showing or documenting in Microsoft Word or Busy or somewhere, Excel, anywhere. Is showing you table to table connection. That's it. Data model is a table to table connection. You are writing the table name with all the column name. You're writing the table name with all the column name for all the tables and show them how they are connected. Which table are connected to which. Let's say this table. This table is connected to this table, but this table is not connected to this table directly. Not directly. See, this table is connected to this table through this table. Here and then here, then here. Right?
Yes.
So if you need to get some information from this table, using this and this, you cannot directly connect. You have to go to this and then this connect to this and this connect to this. Right? So from the data model, you can see how to get information from different table. That's the purpose of it. Representation.
So standard procedures in ETL testing.
Yeah.
Is it that first you have to create this this modeling first, and then
this is the first thing. That data architect, that is BI architect, data modeler. Actually, basically, this is done by data modeler. In remember, we in our SD also we studied the BI architect. There's we have a like data modeler role who does data modeling, or also called data analyst, who also does this this thing. They analyze the data and then create this model. What table they will put the information into.
So the tester, they don't need to do this modeling.
No. We don't need to create it. We need to understand it.
Create it. Right. Understand it. Okay.
It's like it's like if you wanna go to Europe, you need to buy a map and use that.
Right.
Know how to use the map. You don't need to create the map, right? Make sense?
Right.
You're just gonna buy the map, or you're gonna get the map from internet and know how to use it. That's all.
Okay. Makes sense.
Clear, all of you guys? See, those are the things that is very important for ETL testing point of view. Very important, because they will give you just this data model, let's say, and mapping, nothing else. No requirement document, no user story, nothing. Two things they might give you: data model and then mapping document. And using those, you need to write script.
Test cases.
Test cases and script, equal script.
Okay, so from that you have to write the script.
Yes.
Okay.
They might give you other thing like say user story, requirement, all these things, but I'm saying it's not mandatory always. Okay, it's not always mandatory. They might give you just the data model and the mapping. That's it. Validate it. That's all they will tell you. Test it. And you have enough information. You can do that with this information. All you need is the data model to understand the structure, how they are connected, what data are moving from where, and then mapping. You can use the business rules for it. If you understand SQL, if you know SQL, you can do database testing normal. And if you understand this concept, this concept that we are talking, then you do ETL testing. It's just a concept, nothing different than the SQL, regular SQL. Okay, it's not nothing, no difference in the SQL coding though. They have some analytical function, little bit different analytical function for data warehouse. That's the only thing. Other than all the concept is same. It's just the data warehouse architecture to understand. That's all. See here, if you see, you have OLTP. See OLTP database, OLTP. Now, if you realize, see, you have OLAP. That's the data warehouse, right?
Yes.
ETL. Okay. So OLTP is the regular, like transactional database, and OLAP is the data warehouse architecture. So it's like he said, it's the same thing, right? Is data model is nothing but the presentation of the table with column name and connection. Data model is the presentation, is displaying, is documenting, is showing you table name with the column name and how they are connected. That's it. Now, with a data warehouse or data model, then the table structure will be different. If it's a OLTP data model, the table structure will be different. That's it. Nothing else really. Make sense?
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So first we analyze, and then this is actually not part of the phases. First we analyze, and then we write the test case, and we create the test data. See, a test data creation in data warehouse testing is number one priority. It's most important to create the test data, because we're dealing with all test data, right?
Yes.
So test data, we have to create the proper test data. Okay, we'll talk about it. So analyzing documents. Analyzing means just analyzing the documents, meaning data model. If you realize in data warehouse testing, the main thing is data model. To understand the data model and the mapping specs, it's called mapping specs. Mapping specs or source to target mapping. Okay, different name, but same thing. And then test case, we write the test case, and then create the test data, and then create the script. Script means SQL, right? Script means SQL script, and then run the SQL script. And based on the SQL script, you analyze the result and defect the log. Okay.
Yes.
Like the sequence wise, do you understand? Like sequence wise, any question, like first we analyzing, right? And then create the test data. Create the test case, create the test data, and then SQL script, right? And then execute them, and then analyze the result. And like all this regular thing that we do in regular testing also.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So analyzing phase. See. So analyzing phase, we review some of the documents. BRD. Well, what is BRD? Side by.
Business requirement document.
Yes, BRD is the business requirement document. And see, business requirement, ERD or data model. ERD, entity relationship diagram, right? ERD. BRD we analyze, ERD we analyze. And then see, here is the thing. Review the definition of entities and attributes. What is entities and what is attribute, Hassan Bhai?
Entities is the table.
And attribute?
Attributes are the column.
Okay. Let's say you are moving into a project. Let's say somebody is working in a project, data warehouse testing project, he left, and then they hire you. You just moved in after 2 months, middle of the project. Now you have this structure. How do you know which table is using for what column is using for what? How do you know? You don't know that, right?
Right, you don't know.
So whenever the data modeler create this model in a separate either Excel sheet or Microsoft Word, they write down all the table name with the column name, line by line. They write down all the table name, all the column name, line by line, to explaining what this table is using for, what this column will be used for. Do you understand this point? Like the
Yes.
data modeler, they create this data model. Now they create this data model and giving it to everybody. Everybody is in dark. What do you mean by this table? What information will be this table? What information will be on that table? This table has 10 column. Why you have 10 column? What each column will contain, right?
Yeah.
Just by naming, you will not be able to tell everything. Let's say you have a column name, first name. You have a column name SSN, which is social security number. You have column name date of birth. You know right there what that column means, right? But if
Right.
some column names is weird, let's say PH3, what's that PH3? Sub column name is DT, what's that DT, right? So
Yeah.
there is some column name will be there that you will not understand what's that mean for. You will not know. So the data modeler need to write down all the information in a separate place. Separate place meaning it could be in Excel or Microsoft Word, it could be anywhere. But the data modeler is responsible to explaining all the table name with their column name. Understand this thing? Make sense?
Yeah.
That because you have, let's say, 40 tables. 40 tables. Nobody knows. The project manager doesn't know. The Scrum Master doesn't know. The ETL developer doesn't know. Nobody knows until they read the document. Okay. So the developer, the data modeler will write down the table name with their column name, what the table will contain, what the column will contain. Okay. That's called this thing.
All right. So in the start, usually they give you the ERD and like the mapping. When they give you the testing thing, they just give you the ERD and the mapping. And
Yes.
from that you can go through with all this stuff, right?
ERD mapping, and also they're supposed to provide you this information. They're supposed to provide you.
Definitions of right. Okay.
What?
Yeah, I got it.
Yes. Yeah, because let's say data model, if you look at the data model here, this one, let's say, oh, you know that this table is connected with this table using this column, customer column, whatever. This table is connected with this column. You know that. But let's say industry says industry enum. Let's say this column, right? This table. It's an industry enum. What is this industry? You don't know. So the data modeler is going to write it down in an Excel sheet or different place. What this column means? What this column means? They will write it down. So that's called C definition, meaning they will write it down. So if you read it, you will know. You don't have to ask anybody basically. Everything should be documented, right? That's the whole purpose of a project, documentation. Everything should be documented. So by reading this, you will know each table information, each column information, right?
Right.
Clear? So that's called review this thing, okay? And then transformation business rules, right? That's the transformation rules, rules that we have. And then the review the mapping specs. So usually those are the things that we review. Now, sometimes you don't have all the information. Sometimes you may not have all the business BRD, you may not need it. Okay, you don't need it. You may not need it, or they may not give you. Mainly, if you realize we need the data model, right? We need to understand what this data table or column means, and then the mapping specs. In the mapping specs, they put the transformation rules usually. Okay, in the mapping specs, they usually put the rules there also. Okay. So do you understand any question about this document? This is the very important for a ETL tester though, to understand this thing. So if you have any confusion, even single confusion, let me know now, please. কোথায় আছে? হ্যাঁ, এই ফাইলটা আমি পাঠাইছি. I send you this one. You have everything.
You have to scroll down a little bit to get to this one.
Which one?
No, যে আপনার উপরের high level এর ইয়েগুলো যে লেখছেন,
হ্যাঁ,
like phases of testing, Then you have to scroll down because there is a space. Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
go scroll down like the file you send us.
So we are okay on this one.
Yes, I agree.
Please review this after the class. Okay. If you have any question, we'll talk tomorrow. Okay. I know we're supposed to review today, just the review, no classes, but we have these classes, so I just wanted to finish this, and then we can probably talk. Okay, so now types of testing. This is actually the only difference between regular testing, application testing versus the ETL testing. What type of testing you are doing? What we are testing actually, unless the everything process is same. Like first we analyze, in regular testing we analyze too, and then we write test cases, write test data, execute them, right, and analyze it and log them. Same thing, right? But what kind of testing you are doing, that's the difference. So, oops. So let's talk about the different type of testing we do. Okay. Now see, let me highlight it so you know. The first is the backend ETL testing. Okay. Backend ETL testing is data testing basically, right? And then this is one thing. And then, hold on 1 second. Oops, no, sorry, not this one. And then front end, the business. Okay. So in ETL testing, we do two things. If you break it down, if you want to break it down, one is backend, one is front end. Done, right? One is backend, one is front end. Now front end for what? For the reporting. Remember on data warehouse, right?
Yes.
We have the table in the backend, and then the last stage is what? The user of the report user, right?
Yeah.
There's data warehouse too, right?
Yes.
So the backend we test data, right? This is one thing, and the last thing is in the front end we test the report, right? Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So in the backend we test the report. In the backend we test the data. Now in the data, we can break it down in different way. Just to understand this, it's nothing when you write the script or something, you don't have to worry about it. To understand that you are covering every single thing, to understand what you're really doing. That's why you're breaking it down. So data content, right? Hold on 1 second. Let me just do this. Okay. So first we break it down. Give me 1 second, okay, so that you understand. If I scroll back and forth, you'll be more confused. Sorry, okay. One second. Okay. So data warehouse testing, right? Now we have two things. We have backend and front end, right? Front end we have report, right? Like say Tableau report, OBI report, right? Those kind of report. The backend we have the data, the actual data. Now on the data, what do we do? We have content testing, we have quality testing, we have performance testing. Now content means the data, actually testing the data. Let's say I have a account number 3434. So make sure this account number is correct. There's like content. Content means the information that you have. That's content. And then the quality. Quality meaning the way the information should be. Is it the same way? Let's say I have a uppercase. Should I be in the uppercase or lowercase? Okay, those are the things. Let's say I have only uppercase, but in the target I have uppercase and lowercase mix. So those are the quality. First thing, I have it, right? Let's say you buy something from Best Buy. So you have it. So make sure you have the, let's say you bought a DVD player. So you have the DVD player. So that's one check. That's the content. DVD player you have is fine. You're good. Now let's go to the next step. Is it working properly or not? Quality. You bought a, like say, HD DVD player, Blu-ray DVD player, but it's not playing Blu-ray. It's playing, but not playing Blu-ray DVD player. Okay. So first thing is you have the data. Test those if you have it or not properly. And then the quality of the data. What is the quality? And then the performance. Let's say the data, actually ETL meaning what? Data moving, right? ETL meaning you are moving the data from one place to another. That's ETL. You are moving the data from one place to another. That's ETL. So you are not moving 10, 20 data. You are moving millions of records. So here performance is a big issue. Like say the last project that we tested, when we tested in our QA environment, we had a performance testing. Data loaded should be done around 3 hours. Around 3 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 3 some hours is fine. So we are done. We tested the performance testing. We load the data, different load. We checked, yeah, it loaded around 3 hours. We are done. Now, when they move those to UAT environment, sometimes it's loading to 5 hours. So it failed there. It passed in QA but fell in UAT. This is a real scenario that I'm giving. I had a meeting on this yesterday also. So with our testing is completing on performance testing. Requirement was to load the data within 3 hours, in around 3 hours. We tested in different load. We submit the load. Time is fine. Pass, we sign off, give it to the UAT. Now UAT testing different scenario. They are testing load, but now they find an issue. The loading time is 3 hours most of the time, or sometimes is 5 hours. So this case they fail in UAT. Now they are investigating why it is failing. It's two different environment. So they cannot blame in QA that how come you guys passed this test case. They cannot blame because it's two different environment. So they need to investigate why is failing in their environment. Okay. So those are performance. Performance means the data is loading from point A to point B is taking how long? That's very important. Okay, that's called performance testing. So in the back end, what we are testing? We are testing the data content. Content means the data that we have. Do we have the data or not properly? That's all. Content means we are have it or not, basically. We have different type of content testing. We'll go through it. But first thing is the data that we have tested. Second thing, okay, we have the data. What is the quality of it then? What is the quality? You have a name in there, but your name is cutting off. Things like that, or you are uppercase, lowercase, and upside down, whatever. Okay, so one is you have it. Second thing is the quality of the thing that you have. We need to check the quality of it. And then the performance. Performance, nothing but the data movement time, data loading time. Data is loading from point A to point B, from point B to point C, how long it is taking. It is the time that is taking, it is business wise, it is okay or not. That's all. Okay, let's say you are getting the data every day. Every day you are getting the data, you have to move them from point A to B. Every day you are getting data, 5 million record. You are moving from point A to point B. Now, if it takes more than 24 hours, then you will be backed up, right? You have to finish today's load within 24 hours. So then you can finish tomorrow's load in tomorrow's day, right? Today's load, if it's like 30 hours, then how can you finish tomorrow's load? So you will be always backed up, right? So performance is very important. Okay, because in data load, what usually happens is after one load, you load another load. Hello? Anybody says something?
I think somebody said. Okay, keep going, Haribhai.
Okay, so performance is important though. We may think of performance is very important. So do you understand this thing high level wise, that what are the criteria that we are testing, different type of testing that, I mean, not different type, like different scenarios. Make sense?
Yes.
It is getting boring or interesting or exciting.
Very
No.
exciting.
It's good. Very exciting.
Right? What
No,
happened?
no. I really have interest in that.
Yeah. See, this is really interesting. Data, if you want to test ETL, if you want to be ETL tester, you have to be very passionate about ETL, very passionate about the data, because sometimes it takes hours to find out the root cause of data. In the view, the final data mart, you are seeing data is wrong. Data is wrong, and then you have to go back to the raw data. It could be a text file. Drill it down piece by piece because it's coming from multiple tables, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go back one by one and find out where the source data is coming. And it has to be very interesting. If it's not interesting, then forget it. It's going to be a mess because it's not simple rule that, okay, it's not simple application testing. You put this information and then you clicking the submit and it's going there or not. No, it's not, doesn't work like that. It's millions of record. Find out one piece from there is very important. It's like finding a needle from a bush, so it's very interesting. I mean, if you're interested, hope you'll have fun. So okay, so in data warehouse we do two tests. We break it down in two types: front end and back end. Front end we do report testing. Okay, that's BI tester. Okay, and that's report testing. And in the back end we do data testing. That's ETL tester. Okay, so the ETL we test data. In the ETL, we test data. In the front end, we test report. So in the data, we test different type, we could say, different way we can break it down. We test the data that we have, with the quality of the data we have. We have the how quickly the data is loading from the source to target. Okay, so we are good on this one.
Yes.
Guys, can you take like 5 minutes break? Is that okay?
Yes, Aribhai.
Just
I
5 minutes.
need to
Okay, I'll be.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I just need to make a quick phone call. That's why.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. Are you guys there?
Yes.
Hasan bhai, oh,
Yes,
sorry,
Arbay.
I was in mute. I was like last 2 minutes. I was like, sorry. Said bhai?
Yes, Arbay.
Okay. Sorry, I had to make a phone call, but didn't happen.
You're getting cold?
I'm getting cold. I'm sitting right by the window. Yeah, it's kind of cold. Yeah. Did anybody see the movie, the Sully? You know, the plane crash one?
I saw a bit of it, Arif bhai.
Bit of it.
Not the whole thing.
Oh, how was it? Good or no?
I mean, it's like, it's good in a sense, like, it's really like how they went down, Repeatedly, they just showed, like, those who didn't see it. I was in Manhattan that day, though.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
Yeah, I was in Park,
That's really scary.
But yeah, because you remember the temperature was really, really cold that day.
Oh, yeah.
It was really cold. So, I mean, they're lucky that they survived, even with that. A good thing it happened in Manhattan because there is a lot of boats, so they got to them quickly. If there was some remote area, maybe they wouldn't. Like, the way was, the weather was very cold, freezing.
Yeah, that's the worst part. Okay. Sunny Bhai is there? Sunny Bhai? Oh, okay, okay. Okay. So, like this thing that I put it here just to high level understand what we like what different angle we test. This is like different angle, right? How we are attacking it. We are attacking it from the front end, which is the report. We are doing the content and then quality and then performance. Performance is really loading of the data. That's the performance here means. Okay, loading of the data. Okay, clear on this thing, guys?
Okay, Arif bhai, in performance testing, right?
Yes.
So, interview question, what type of question they can ask, like, and how do you answer? Like, have you done performance testing in ETL?
Okay, what it happens is,
how did you like, how you did the performance testing?
It's like
something.
The developer will give you the mapping that they write, ETL, workflow. They will give you the mapping. You just run it and you log the time. You run it in different time in UAT in QA environment, and you log the time, how long it takes. You don't log the time, actually, it's already logged. You just analyze it.
No. Okay.
You run the workflow in different time of the day and analyze the times that it takes to load the data from source to target. That's it. Okay, you running the mapping. Basically, that ETL, what developer does is they're loading the data, right? They write that code to load the data, right? So you running that code to load the data and in different time of the day and find out how long it is taking and analyzing it. Okay, if sometimes maybe you have, let's say, 10 load in one day in testing, you're testing that 10 load you are doing, and it's loading around, let's say, 1 hour, but one load is taking 3 hours.
So in this load is the SQL script you are running?
No, or the mapping. Or is the mapping. Now SQL load, it depends actually. SQL load is, you can do that also, but in real life, when it will be in production, you are not going to load using the SQL load, right? So if you test it using the SQL load, it will not be correct, because in real environment, you'll be using the mapping, the Informatica that they are using, right?
So you're running this test with Informatica?
Let's say it's Informatica is one of the tool, right? Whatever the tool they are using,
Right.
using Informatica,
Okay. I mean,
or whatever.
but just to clear myself, just
Yes.
to like how this load is gonna be. Just curious, like, so you talking about using that tool
Yeah.
to run this? Okay.
They write, using that tool, they write the code and everything.
Okay.
They test it in depth, and then they give you the method. They give it the workflow, and you run them in QA environment. Check in different time of the day, and then analyze them. If they are pretty similar, is fine. If one or two load is completely different, then you analyze them. Why it takes that long during that time? Okay, what's going on? Okay.
Okay.
So basically, that's all. Like the loading the data from point A to B, how long it takes, that's all. You're analyzing it. And if it meets the business requirement, then you set. Like say our requirement was about 3 hours, around 3 hours. And we are good around 3 hours, but UAT is taking 5 hours. So they want to find out why it's taking that long. 5 hours.
Okay.
So that's the thing. So performance meaning nothing but loading the data from point A to B, how long it's taking. That's it. And data content and quality. Okay, it's pretty simple if you realize content and quality meaning you have something, there's content, there's testing, having it, and the quality meaning whatever you have, what is the quality of it? Like you bought a light bulb, let's say 60 watt, it's fine, you have the light bulb, it's working fine, it's giving you light, but you bought it for 60 watt, but it's giving you 40 watt. So that's the quality, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's the thing. So any question? Any more? Clear? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, clear.
Let's go into a little bit details. Now, one thing, did I talk about SCD type 1, 2, 3?
You didn't, but that was in the slide.
Yeah, this is what I mean actually. I mean, did you guys go through SCD type 1?
Type 2 and type 3. It's slowly changing dimension, right?
Yes.
So the third type, Arif, shouldn't it be one previous record plus one of the, current record plus one of the previous record?
Which one?
The third type.
Which one?
Third types, the SCD type 3.
Type 3.
Type 3 should be one of the previous record because
One, just the previous. Previous doesn't mean all. One previous record. Last.
Right, one previous record. Like you don't need like.
Oh, sorry. I know is the what I mean is last record.
Current plus one of the last record.
If you have 5 record, let's say you have say for one you have like say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 record. Then this is the most recent, right?
Right.
Then you will have this one with this one, these two. This is what I mean. I'm going to go through it. Don't worry. Just 1 second. Guys, please write this thing down because the script that I send it to you, the word, I don't have this. So quickly, this is very simple. Just write this thing down, please. Okay, you write it down?
1 second.
Okay. Said bhai, I think Sunny bhai is sleeping. What do you think? You agree or no?
He's watching cricket.
Cricket? What cricket?
Yeah, he's watching cricket. I'm pretty much sure.
Cricket going on right now?
Yeah, Bangladesh and Afghanistan.
Oh, Bangladesh and what?
Afghanistan.
Oh. Let me know when you guys finish.
Okay, Arif bhai.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done also.
Done? Sunny bhai?
Done, Arif bhai.
Okay. You know, Hassan Bhai, what Hasina, Hasina came here, right? She went to Bangladesh and they had they put flowers all over the route from airport to Ganabhavan.
Wow.
Believe this, people are dying without food there. How these people does this kind of thing? You don't believe it. No,
They don't care.
right?
They
People
don't
are
care. Yeah,
dying.
you're right about it.
People literally dies without food. I mean, starving. They eat like one time a day. How can the government does it? It's unbelievable. Really.
Everybody will have to answer that, Arif bhai, you know.
No, I mean, it's really unbelievable. It's psycho. I mean, I can simply think what they do it, how they do this kind of thing. Anyway, so okay, so see this data warehouse. Data warehouse is why we have data warehouse for history, right? Basically historical data. That's the whole
Right.
purpose. We have the data, transactional data. In regular database, we can save data for like say 2-3 years. That's fine. We can do that. But in data warehouse, we save it for like say 20, 50, 30 years, 100 years, right? So basically in data warehouse, we have historical data. That's the whole thing. Historical data meaning everything that you do from day one, like born until continue, right? Everything. So to keep the history, we have 3 different types. Okay. Type 2 is the most used one. Type 2. You keep all the record in type 2. Keep all the record. I think there is like 7 different types, 6 or 7. 7, I think, 7 different types. But this is the most used one. I mean, 99% they use these 3 types. So type 2 is the mostly used one. Okay. Now in type 2, you keep all the record. All the record. What does that mean? Let's say very simple. Let's say this one. Let me show you. Let's say you see my screen. Okay, so here let's say I have name, and then I have phone number. Okay, let's say for someone, right? Oh, okay, this is status. Okay, let's say this one, your phone number is whatever, right? And then you're living in NY. Okay, the status meaning actually status meaning like what is the current record you have. If your record is, this is kind of flag. If this is the most current one, we put 1. If this is the old one, we put 0. Okay, there is 3 different type. I'll talk to you. Let's say this is almost current one. Now same person, okay, move to Connecticut. Okay, what is Connecticut, right? So now I'm going to put this one 1 and this one 0. Okay, now again say this one I'm going to put Virginia. So this one I'm going to put, this is 0. Now this is type 2. This is type 2. In dimension table, if you realize, I have this same person, right? Oops, what happened? Okay. I have same person fresh. This is the first record was entered, right? Now another thing also we need to put create date. Create date is there, and then also create date, and also they put update date. Updated date. Okay. And if you realize, see, same person, right? Same person is to live in New York. So at that time, there was the current, most current one. So I put 1 here. And then when the same person moved to Connecticut, this one became 1 and this became 0. And then same person moved to Virginia sometimes later, then this person changed to 0, this is 1. So by looking at this column, you know which one is the most recent record, most updated one. If you say 1 is the most updated one, I mean current one, and the 0 means previous record. So that's type 2. Type 2 meaning every time there is a change for this person. Every time there is a change. Every time there is a change, this person, we change, we keep the record. We keep all the record. Now they are changing, let's say this location here, right? And now he is doing this. Let's say now he is changing his phone number. He's living in same place, but changing his phone number. Okay, so now I'm going to put this. See, now before he was changing location, so I changed the status. Now location is same, but he's changing his phone number. So I change this one. So basically what I'm saying, for a particular record, for any particular record, if there is a change for any attribute meaning column, if there is a change in any attribute, you just put a record, insert a record for this one and change the status. Status meaning by looking at it, you know which one is the most current one and which one is the old record. That's type 2. In the dimension table, you are keeping, whenever there is a change for a record, you insert that record and change the status. Status basically meaning by looking at it, we know which one is the most current one. Make sense?
Right.
Now, see here, this is the flag. Okay, this is the flag. So now, if we don't use it, we can use also version. We can use version. We can use version like say 1, 2, 3, 4. We can do that too. Maximum version is the most current one. Okay, and also we can use date. If you don't want to use this, we can use update date, right? So this is the create date. This means initially this record was created that time. Okay, initially the record was created that time. Okay, now let's say this one was updated on this date. This was updated on this date, and and this is the most current one, right? This is the current. So what I'm going to do is I can put this. See, this is the maximum date, right? This is the maximum date. Like I don't know the end date yet because it's still current. So I put the maximum, December 31st of 9999, right? That's the most updated, I mean most biggest date. So once that person will change again, let's say he is moving another place. So phone number probably same. Phone number, what happened? number probably same, but he's coming back to, let's say, New York. And then create date, the record create date is same, right? And then update, say here, so this date I'm going to put here, I'm going to put this, and then this date I'm going to put, like, say, today's date. Okay, so by looking at the date, you know that which one is the most current. So if you see anywhere the max date, then you know, okay, this is the most current one. Or if you don't put anything, the end date, updated date is null. Okay, that's the create date. That could be updated date. Update is null. Okay, so that means you know that, okay, this is the most current one. Like, different way to find out if you have the same record multiple times. If you have the same record multiple times, how do you know which one is the most current one? How do you know that? That's the question. Okay, you have same record, same person record a lot of times. How do you know which one is the most current, most recent? By looking at this date. The date is, like, say, date is like this, like, say, really big number, like the biggest number, then you know this is the latest one. Or it could be use a flag, like status, okay, like 0 0 0 0 and then 1. So whenever is 1 is the most current one. Or it could be used version. Okay, different way you can find out. That's all. It depends on the data modeler actually. Like, this is the max one, so this is the most recent one. Okay, so different way we can find out which one is the most current. In type 2, if in type 2, what do we do? In type 2, we keep all the record. That's the whole thing. We keep all the record. Now, how do I know which one is the most recent? Let's say you are a AT&T customer. Okay, so you are moving from one place. You are moving to Queens, Jamaica, Bronx, Staten Island, different places you are moving. Now, which address they will sell your mail to? Monthly bill, which address? Most recent one. How does the computer know which one is most recent? How the computer know? Different way they can know. It depends on the data model, how they are designed. If they use version, they're going to use the most maximum one. If they use the date, the most recent date, I mean the biggest date, or it could be null. Whatever the logic they are using. Okay, different way it could be designed. Okay, it could be date, it could be version, it could be flag. Flag basically meaning, you know, like 0101 kind of thing. So if you have historical data, you keep every record. See, this person is moving. I mean, sometimes it's moving. He's moving, right? Sometimes he's moving. Sometimes he's not moving, but changing his phone number, right? So yes, whenever there is a change on that person, we keep the record. That's it. We keep the record. But we keep the record. We are done. But how do I know the most recent one? The most recent record we know in 3 different ways. Either the version, or date, or flag. Okay, so version could be this, and date could be this. Okay, it could be update date, it could be end date, it could be column name. You know, it doesn't matter what column they're using. Okay, so it depends what column they're using. So it's the column name. Okay, so end date is the column, and the version is this, or it could be flag also. Now they are not going to use all these 3. They are using only one to find out the most recent. Understand this? In the data model, they are not going to use 3 columns for this. They're going to use, I mean, to find out the most recent record, you will not have 3 options. To find out the most recent record, you will not have 3 options. You're going to have either one of these. It could be version, it could be flag, it could be date. By date, I'm just showing you how to find out from the date. If you look at the date, it's max date, right? The end date is the max, because still going on. You don't know when it's leaving. Or it could be null. If the end date is null or max, if the end date is null or max, you know that this is the most recent. If you know the version, whenever the max version is, there's the most recent. If you know whenever is 1 is, there's the most recent. Make sense?
Yes.
To find out the most recent, you have 3 options. Okay, date, version, flag. Flag is 01, version is the highest one, and end date could be the either max date or null, max date or null. If the date is max, like December 31st 9999, that's the most recent. Or if the end date is null, is the most recent one. Why the end date is null? Because you don't know when is still in there, right? That's why it's null. So 3 ways to find out: date, version, flag. Make sense? Guys?
Yes, Arif.
Yes, Harvey.
Anybody current, because this is really important concept on data warehouse. Like any data warehouse in the interview they might ask you like what is the implementation of your data warehouse? What is the implementation? Meaning what type they use? What type of implementation in your data warehouse is type 1, 2, or 3? If it is type 2, then what is the flag they use to find out the most recent? It could be version, date, or flag. You need to explain this. What type? Usually mention is type 2. Okay, just to let you know, use mention type 2 because that's the most recent. Most, usually 99% they use this type 2.
Type 2.
Okay, I mean not 99, less 90%. Type 2 is the most famous one, but this is always being used 99%. Type 1, 2, or 3. Okay, this doesn't make any sense. It's like a regular transactional data. You can say most recent one, right? So anyway, I'm going to come to this, but I'm just saying type 2 is the most important one. It's the 3 way you can find out most recent, because in type 2 we keep all the record. So keeping the record is one thing important, and another thing is to find out the most recent record, most updated record. That's important to it. How do you find out that? There is a 3 way to find out: from the date, from the version, from the end. They will ask you in the interview. Not only in the interview, you need to test it. Okay, if there is a type 2 implementation, you have to test it. Okay.
Okay.
Now type 3, you're going to have only 2 record, for each type. Like for let's say for this person, right? For oops.
It will be the last record and the current record, right?
Yes. So what we'll do, let's say we are looking at the flag. Okay, so we're going to put 0 here and then 1. That's it. If you use the version, then 1, 2. I mean 1 and 2. Yeah, that is correct. And then if the end date, then here we're going to put it this, right? This. So the previous record will be there and the end record. Now, if this person changes, right? So what? Let's say this person is going moving, right? This person is moving, right? So here create date, right? Now he's moving, and now this thing I don't know, right? Now what here, this version if we put 3, let's say we are putting 3 version, right? We are going to delete this record. Okay, we're going to delete this record, the previous one. We're going to keep only 2 record. Okay, so this will, if we use the flag, this will be 0, this will be 1, this will be 1. Okay, if you use the version, you could put it 1 and 2, update it. The ETL will do that. Okay, and then this one, let's say they move it yesterday, so I'm going to put the yesterday date, right? And that would be the, like I said again, don't get confused. These are the 3 things I'm showing side by side, but you'll be seeing only one thing at work for find out the recent record. Okay, like I just want to show you, if the date is usually big date, they put the end date is really big like this, or they put it null, then you know this is the most recent one. And version, they can put it like the whatever version they put it here, the maximum one is the most recent one. Let's say this is 10, this is 11. You could say, how come we start with 10? Doesn't matter, but the most maximum one version. And flag is 0101. Okay. So this is the type 3. current record and the previous record, previous one record, I mean last record basically. That's it. That's, and then is the type 1 is the most current record. You put always most current record. So you have it's just one record, right? So there is no flag or anything here, right? Nothing, because you just have one record. So you just put create date, end date, right? Now is usually in type 1 they don't put end date, they put update date. Okay, so here you're putting this person is moving and create. That's the first time you create the record, and let's say this that was done in, let's say 8/14 this, right? Now this is what I have. Now same person is changing his state to he's moving to NY. So I put NY and today's date is let's say 9/30. Okay, like this. Okay.
But do the company really use the first type 1?
No, they don't use in type 1 in the data warehouse. What they do, let's say data warehouse, you have type 3, right? Now in the data mart, sometimes they pull the record from the data warehouse to data mart using the one, they take only the most recent record. They don't take, because for the reporting, let's say for the reporting.
They don't need it. They don't need to know.
The reporting, let's say reporting has to be very fast. Nah? So if the reporting, let's say one type of report, they have let's say 20 report. One time need just the most recent record. So why they are pulling all these record, 19 other record, right? So they're going to just take the most recent record from the data warehouse. The data warehouse, that's what I'm saying, is usually type 2. Almost 99% of the time you will see these three kinds, but most of the time it's like this type 2. Okay, but from the type 2, they also sometimes create the sub like a data mart or view. On that one, they take the most recent one. That's it. Make sense?
Yes, sorry, but just আমার একটা second, 1 minute আমি আসছি এখানে, just mute করবো next second.
Okay. It's cold and Long Island side by, right?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's cold here too, so it has to be cold there. Raining yesterday. It's supposed to rain today too.
Yeah, they're saying like tomorrow also it's raining. Let's see.
Yeah, today and tomorrow is supposed to rain.
এই আরিফ ভাই, আপনি এটা রেকর্ডিং করতেছেন ইয়াতে ইউটিউবে?
আমি রেকর্ড করতেছি দাও।
ওকে।
ইয়া।
আপনার আর কতক্ষণ আরিফ ভাই আমার কাজে যেতে হবে?
আর বেশিক্ষণ না, a few more minutes.
सनी भाई जाग रहे हैं आप?
मेरी तरह सोता रहता हूँ मैं.
Not too long.
Arif bhai, when you give 5-minute break, he takes a 5-minute nap. That's what he does.
इसको कहते हैं time utilization.
Oh, one second, guys.
Okay, Arif bhai, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, guys. All right. Okay. Yeah, what happened is this is a type, 3 kinds of type, right? Like I said, it's a 7 kinds of type, but this 3 is the mostly used one, 99% of the time. But among these 3, this type 2 is the most used one, type 2. Okay, but in the interview, they ask you sometimes, they want you to know, explain you how this thing works. So we need to understand also. Okay. So basically type 1 is always the most recent record. Type 2 is all the historical record. Every single time there is a change, you have to check it. I mean, log it. And type 3 is the current one and the last one, previous one. That's it. Not
So
all.
type 2 and 3 has historical record.
Yeah.
Type doesn't. One doesn't have.
One doesn't
historical.
have. One doesn't have the historical record. 2 and 3 does. But 2 has all of them. 3 is just the last one, current and last one. Is that okay now?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, who came? Just a second. Okay, so all right, so we are go to this one. Okay, so guys, this thing is a lot of information and it could be a little bit confusing. I understand. We can talk tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Okay, if you don't anything understand, we'll discuss tomorrow again. Okay, so let's talk about the different type of testing that we do. Okay, we need to remember the name of this testing and explain, because in the interview they ask you what kind of testing you do in ETL. They will ask you what kind of testing you do. Then you know, name them, like completeness testing, project rejection, all this name, we have to tell them this is what I do. So let's go through. So completeness testing. This testing basically means that data are loaded from source to target. All the data are loaded. All of them. The data that we are supposed to get. Did we get those data? Let's say there is 1 million record in a text file. And the staging, do we have this 1 million record or not? That's completeness testing. That's like a simple count. Okay. That's complete. Do we have the data or not? That's completeness. Okay. Now, this is like all the data loaded. How do we do that? A simple count, group by aggregation, just different way of a simple count, different way of count, different type of count. That's all. Like group by, sum, aggregation, that's count. We're gonna make sure that we have the data. Projection, rejection testing. Projection is the positive testing, rejection is the negative testing. Meaning the data, sometimes let's say in a database table we have 1 million record. We do not want all of them. Let's say in a table we have record from 5 borough, right? Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Bronx, Manhattan, 5 borough. Now we are creating a table only with Manhattan, not other 4 borough. So in one table we have all the record 5 borough, but we are creating another table only with 1 borough, Manhattan. So from table A that has 5 borough, I'm creating table B just 1 borough, Manhattan. So I have to pull the record with a filter, right? So projection meaning I am getting all the record that I supposed to get, only where the borough is Manhattan. And rejection mean all the other borough is rejecting. It's rejecting. It's not taking the data, because this is what it's supposed to do. No, it should not take the data. It should take only where the record belongs to Manhattan. If it does not belongs to Manhattan, reject it.
So you mean, Arif bhai, sorry, you have this source table, right?
Yes.
And you have in source table you have 5 boroughs.
Yes.
And in the target table you just wanted to have, let's say, just the Manhattan.
Yes.
And you don't want the other 4.
Yes.
So that's the business rule. It says just get in the target table, just get the data for only Manhattan.
Yes.
So that's what you mean, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that's what projection means. You are taking the data that you only require. Now realize this. Let's say you are testing, right? You don't have production data. You are testing it.
Right.
So in the testing environment, What is the requirement? You should have 5 borough, 20 borough, let's say. You have Suffolk, Nassau, everything. But you are taking only Manhattan, right? But in the testing environment, you do not have all this data. You have only Manhattan too. Table A could be anything, and table B, you're going to put only Manhattan. That's the most important, right? Table B will be only Manhattan. Table A could be anything, could be 5 borough, 10 borough, whatever. But you are not taking all of them. You are taking only Manhattan.
Manhattan, right.
Now, table A has 10 borough, so it's very easy for you to test because you are filtering and you can check right there that you are getting only Manhattan. Now, let's for instance think, table A, you have only Manhattan. You have test data and you have only Manhattan. You don't have other borough. So it's like a simple copy, right? You are pulling the record, right? Now, how do you know? How do you know that if you have Queens in there, but it is not going? How do you know? You don't have the data. Then how can you make sure? Do you understand my point?
Right.
Like you don't have the test data. Let's say you have test data, table A, you have Manhattan and Queens. You have 2 types. But in table B, you're going to have only Manhattan, right? So if you copy it and you can look at table B, if you see it's only Manhattan, you are good. Because in table A, you had 2, Queens and Manhattan. Now in table B, you don't have Queens, so you are good, right?
Yeah.
But let's say in table A, you have only Manhattan. And in table B, you should put only Manhattan. So if you copy them, you will see only Manhattan anyway. Because in source table, you don't have any other thing but Manhattan, right?
Right.
So so how do you know that 100% for sure that if you have something else, it will filter out? How do you know? You don't know for sure 100%. So that's rejection. That means then you need to create manually some test data for other borough. Let's create some Queens, Bronx. Let's put some dummy data, insert, and then now do it. See if those records are rejected or not. You are expecting to be rejected, right?
Right.
That's called creating dummy data. Do you understand this concept? Is very super important concept. Projection, rejection is very important concept. You need to understand it. Projection meaning whatever the expectation is should be there. Is it there or not? That's it. Rejection means whatever should not be there. Is it there or not? Whatever should be rejected. Whatever should be rejected. Is it rejected? That's the question. Projection means whatever should be there. Is it there? Yes. Whatever rejection means whatever should be rejected. Is it rejected? So you have to test both scenario. Make sense, guys? It's very important.
Yes.
It is really important to understand this projection rejection because this is a very important scenario. When you test ETL testing, that's super important scenario. You don't only test positive scenario, right? You only copy A to B and then you are done. No, how do you know if you have some extra record, it will not be there? How do you know that? Unless you have a data, right?
So, Arif bhai,
yeah,
from the testing perspective, right?
Yes.
So your business logic, just to trying to understand. So your business logic say, whatever let's say Manhattan should be there.
Yes.
So you have projection and rejection here, and according to that, as you just mentioned that okay, your projection is there, Manhattan is there. Now you need to test if it is rejecting the data, according to the business logic, if the other data is inserting is there, I mean transferring to there or not, then that's when you have to create a dummy data because they don't give you the data.
Yeah, usually when you write your SQL script, usually because developer is developing and you are writing test cases, you don't sit down, right? So at that point, most of the time you do not have the data. You have to create, manually insert into, you have to do that manually to test it. So that time you do that. If you do not have the data, you create the data to test it.
So in real world scenario, this is the developer just telling you, okay, this is what you're going to test. This is the table you can.
Developer never will tell you what to test. That's your job. No, you have to find out what to test. If developer he'll tell you what to test, you tell him mind your own business. Okay.
Oh, I mean, no, sorry, the developer. I mean, the business logic is there for the tester, right?
Yes.
So
business logic is there for the tester and for the developer.
Tester. Okay. Yeah. I made mistake by saying that.
Yeah.
The developer is telling. Okay.
Yeah. All I'm saying is in projection rejection testing is positive scenario or negative scenario. That's all I'm saying. Positive meaning take this. Okay, I'm taking it fine. Now if there is nothing, that you manually create the record and then you test rejection. Okay, let's say you are taking one type of data. You're supposed to take one type of data out of three type of data. Okay, you're supposed to take one type out of three type. So let's say you have three type in table A, and table B you should have one type. So you can check right there how many type you have in table A, table B. If you have more than one type, something wrong. If you have one type, oh, you're good. But in the source table, table A, if you have just one type, table B will be always one type. So you cannot really make sure if you in future there will be not more than one type in table B, right? Make sense?
Yes.
Let's say if you filter out from a you're filtering something, you're filtering something, and based on how big the hole is, you are filtering something, right? So if you have just one type to filter, how do you know that like other three types will not be filtered out from this? Because you have to have multiple types to filter to check really if filter is working or not, right? Conceptually, if you realize, like if you have 5 borough of record, table A and table B, you should have only Manhattan. So now if you filter it out and table B, if you see only Manhattan, you are good. But in table B, table A, you have only one type, only Manhattan. And table B, you'll have only Manhattan anyway. So you don't know that table in future, if you have a Queens record, it will not be there or not. Right? So that's the rejection thing. So you have to test both scenario.
Projection and rejection.
We'll talk tomorrow, Hassan bhai. Don't worry about it. It's nothing complicated. It's just something new. That's why it sounds a little bit complicated, I guess. But you're going to review that today, and tomorrow you're going to talk in a little bit more. So we'll have understand. Tomorrow we're going to have a test. Today I skipped it because of class gap, but tomorrow we're going to have that test. Okay, SDLC, QC, database, all these things that we did before. Okay. And I'm going to send a little bit update my SDLC slide a little bit with some few more note. I'm going to send it to you guys. Okay, SDLC thing.
Okay.
So I'll send it to you. Okay. Any question with this one? Then projection rejection. Any question, guys?
No, Aribhai.
Okay.
Move on.
Sunny bhai there or left side bhai?
No.
Okay. So metadata testing. What is metadata? Metadata is basically means data about the data. Okay. So in metadata testing, we test the like constant length of the data. Let's say in column, in table A column, I have a first name. So in first name, column length, first name I have a table A. Table A, I have a lot of column. Let's say I have a column called first name, another column date of birth, another column social security number. So those column, whatever the length and their structure is the same we have in the target. It should be the same, right? Those are checking. It's called metadata testing. We are testing in metadata testing basically the structure of the table, the source structure and the target structure, if they are same or not. Data type,
like
constant,
the type and constant and stuff. Like let's say, for example, if it's a date table, then the data which is coming in that particular column, it needs to be date, just like that.
It could change like say character, or it could change like timestamp. It could change something, right? So let's say in a index, I have in social security number, I have index in source table. In target, I should have social security number index. Maybe index is not there. Things like that we are checking in metadata testing.
Okay. All right.
The reference testing, like reference testing table connection. Remember our fact table and dimension table, they are connected, right? Foreign key, primary key connection.
Yeah.
Those connection we are testing, if connection is still there or not in the reference testing. And transformation, that's the most important testing, right? The logic business rules we test it there, right? Transformation testing. That's all the rules that we have. Oh, side by, I mailed you something long time ago. You received those, right? Some test plan or something like that documents.
Yeah, I was like going through last weekend.
Those are sample. Okay, so I just want to make sure you received it, just to go through it.
Yep, I got it.
Incremental load is, like say you are loading the data, right? You have a load the data. Let's say you have a text file. You load the data, and then you have another text file. You load the data. Another text file. You load the data. So you need to make sure that every time you load the data, new data is fine. But let's say you have a text file. Okay, you load it, and now you're loading the same text file again. So data should be duplicated in target table, right? You have a text file, you load it today. Tomorrow, by mistake, you load the same file again. What should happen? It shouldn't load, right? Should it?
No.
It shouldn't load.
No.
That's incremental load testing. You're loading the data, make sure they are loading properly. Every time that you have 10 text file, loading 1, check it, fine. Load 2, fine. Load 3, fine. Now by mistake or purposely, if you load the same data again, it should not load. Then it will be duplicate record, right?
Yes.
So those are incremental load testing. Now view testing. View testing is we create view for the reporting. Remember, meta-less view. So we need to make sure the view is correct also. Those are view testing. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So those are the basically testing that we need to do. There is some 20 plus different kinds of testing, but that pretty much covers everything. And then besides that, we have, this is the important like logic that we need to test. Insert logic that I just talked. Remember, insert, you are inserting a record in a dimension table. Let's say you are inserting a record in dimension table. The insert is working, and then you delete a record. Insert logic. Okay, different logic we have. It's like different way to test the dimension table. Now, if you realize in SCD type 2 is similar in SCD type 1 and SCD type 3. Now, SCD type 2 is the most important one that covers all the scenarios. So if you know how to test SCD type 2, it is very easy for you to test SCD type 1 or 3 because they are like smaller version, right? So let's talk about SCD type 2. Now, SCD type 2, what? You have all the record in there, right? All the record, just changing the version of it or flag, whatever. So insert logic, meaning you are inserting a record. Insert logic meaning what? You are inserting a record. Sanibhai, only few more minutes, okay? We will be done shortly. Just does this logic we are talking about quickly, then we are done.
Okay.
I just want to finish it so that you guys can review today and tomorrow we can talk. You know, if you have any question, that's why I don't want to do half done. That's the reason. But few more minutes. So insert logic. Insert meaning you are inserting a record. Let's talk about a single record. Forget about the whole table loading, whole text file loading, 1 million record. Forget about it. Just one record you are inserting. One second. Emma. Okay. So insert. We are inserting if the insertion, I'm inserting a record to dimension table. Is it working? This is what I'm testing right now. I am inserting one record to dimension table. Is it working or not? This is what I'm testing. Now, if you realize, see, this is one, right? So this record I have, let's say this record I am doing by flag, okay, flag. So this is the only record I have. Let's say I have this record in dimension table. I have it. Okay, fine. Now I'm inserting the same record again. Same record. I'm inserting it. So if I have the same record, I have it already in dimension table, and I'm trying to load it again, then I should not load it again, right? Because I already have it.
Yeah, like
This
it needs to
one
throw some error.
scenario, I should create a record in the source table, and same record I should create in the target table to see if it's loading or not. It should not load. Now the same record, I'm changing just one thing. It's the same record. Let's say this is the same record. I'm just changing the source. I'm just changing this. If you realize the same thing, but just location is changing. So if this is the same record, one attribute, one column is changed, one column. So this record, if I insert, I should be able to insert this, and then this should 1 and this should be 0. This should what happened, right? In second scenario. First scenario, I said I have the same record and I'm inserting the same record. I should not be able to insert. That's one test scenario. Second time, I'm inserting the same record, but one thing change, one attribute change, location. So I should be able to change. So what should have happened here? I should be able to insert, and this thing should change, right? This is another scenario. This is called insert logic. Okay.
That's correct.
This is the insert logic. Now, if you realize that those are the things that you will not have it ready for you, you're going to create. You have to create a test data in the source. You have to create a test data in the target to do this kind of thing. Insert, update. This is the update one I did, right? Insert is like a brand new, update is this one, right? And let's say this record I have in the source, right? In the source I have, in the target I have. Source I have, target I have. So I'm trying to insert again. You should not insert. Done. Now in the source I have, in the target, let's say I'm dealing it this way. Sorry. In the target, I'm dealing it. In the source I have, target I delete it. Now when I'm trying to load it again, I should be able to load it. So that's delete logic. So insert meaning completely new record you are inserting, and then update means you are changing something, and delete means you are deleting a record from the target and then trying to load it. Okay, that's delete logic. So different scenario we need to test: insert logic, insert update, right? And then if there is no change in the attribute, means same record you are loading, what happens? And then if the create date and update date should be same or different. If the record is created today, right? I mean created let's say last month, right? And then if there is no change in there, so update date should be the same. But if there is a change in the record here, any record, then update date should change, right?
Yes.
So those are the things that we need to test here. This bit is simple, nothing complicated, but it's like I said, it's new. It sounds a little bit complicated. And then duplicate record. Remember, duplicate primary key, foreign key. I mean, primary key should not be duplicate, right? We need to test that. This thing and null values. Is it null values is still there, or null values should be null or not? Things like that. Simple count. And minus operator. If you realize, minus thing is source and target. If we do select all from a target table minus select all from source table, what should be the outcome, right? So those are the different scenario we need to test. If you guys go through it a little bit, try to understand, and we can talk tomorrow a little bit further to make you more understand. Yeah.
Are you going to do this thing in practical a little bit?
Yeah, I just want you, it's like SDLC and QC. Once you understand, then we can, do simple query, writing, inserting record, deleting record, things like that, But you have to understand it. It's writing like simple one line of query, basically. One line of query, you updating a record and then inserting the record. It's nothing complicated query. Yeah, it's very simple. But understand the logic is most important here. If you do not understand, you will not be able to write the query. But like I said, query wise is very simple. One line of simple query that you are inserting a record, you're deleting a record, updating a record, nothing else. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, Arbe.
That's all basically. This is syntax quality testing. It's like data accuracy, uppercase, lowercase, thing like that. It's nothing, complicated. It's very simple thing. Okay. Though this is the most important things to understand in type 2. In type 2 or 3 is the same thing, but if you understand one, if you understand one thing, same logic in different scenario. That's all. So if you understand how to do the insert testing, how to do the update testing, how to do the delete testing, then you will be fine with anything. We are good?
Yes. So far,
Yes,
so
Arbe.
good.
Any question?
Question for I created a table, Arif.
Yeah.
And I inserted same information twice, right?
Yeah.
Same, exactly, everything is same. But I wanted to delete one record. So when I use where clause to delete that record, but it deleted the both record.
Because the where clause, whatever condition you put, it common to both. That's why.
So how do you delete one record from there? ID was same. Huh?
If it's the same record, you cannot just from the delete command, you cannot delete one. If it's the 100% same record, so just delete the both and then insert one.
Okay, so there is no way to keep one and delete the other one.
No, of course there is a way. You have to just put a probably outer select statement. Like you have to put a probably a row number, or row number is equal to 1 or something like that. If in the condition, if you put, instead of putting any where clause, you can put it where row number is equal to 1 or 2, then probably you can able to delete 1.
Okay.
Because there is with 3 record, there is a 3 row, right? 3 row number.
Right.
So if you put 1, then it should delete 1. Try it like that.
Okay.
Okay, nice. So let's call it a day. If you don't have any question, I can talk tomorrow again at 8 o'clock.
All right, Arbe.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, guys. Then.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.